Hello and welcome to Artists Soar. This is a podcast for artists by 3 artists. We discuss all aspects of being artists, the good, the bad, and the ugly. The goal of each podcast is to provide solutions so artists can focus on their creativity and soar above. I'm Rachel Harshenko.
Jules McCullough.
Stephanie Weaver.
Coffee and friends make the perfect blend. So we're just getting together, doing a little coffee chat.
Coffee chat.
I know, but I was doing it from Saturday Night Live. Coffee chat.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, coffee chat. So what's on everybody's mind? Stephanie, you go ahead. You got something on your mind.
I forgot what it was. Oh, that's terrible. I honestly don't remember. Did you have something, Julie? Listeners are going over. This is going to be a great one. Well, the problem is we got like so many things going on. I think it's hard to figure out what to even
exactly. I think that's what it boils down to, really.
I wanted to ask you, Stephanie, how you decided to do your marketing plan before you, or who you were going to sell your idea to. Like, what got you to think, okay, how am I going to market this if I create it? Like, what shift changed in that? Because a lot of artists don't do that.
That is a great question.
I forget what I was listening to or watching or whatever it was, but every company out there, they're going to do the research before they do development. And they do the research. And it's also the same with blog posts. Like, you're supposed to look up the keywords to see if even this is going to be a searchable thing that people look for. And because if they're not looking for it, you're never going to get found.
Right.
So that's kind of what started it, is like, okay, well, I have an idea. Will people actually find it? And so I wanted to create a fox painting. So I did a search on fox painting and to see an Uber suggest. And I also used this other one called Merch Informer and Sale Samurai. Those are several products that help with keyword research. And there's a free version of keyword research. You can just go to Google, I think Google keyword.
Yeah.
And I just typed in like fox painting. And then I started finding all the different things about what's correlated to fox, cabin decor. Let's see, hikers. Hikers is probably not demographic, but a psychographic that I'd go after. So I started like doing the research and finding keywords that would work with that series. And that's kind of how it got started, is because I saw what was happening with blogs. The blogs that are succeeding, they cater to what is searched for. So that kind of same thing.
Well, and I remember, us having conversations about where to really start with a collection and how to work in collections, and doing some research on how other artists work in collections, and really questioning the process of it in order to gear more towards the higher probability of making sales in the collection than in not. And then, also talking about the VIP collection status and how often do you release a collection? And and I'm answering for you, Stephanie, but as a process-minded or individual, I think you kind of broke it down in, okay, if I do 4 collections a year, that's 3 months of a process. What goes into that process, and how do I stay on schedule with that process?
And I think, doing that, I've come to realize that I'm probably not going to be able to do 4 collections a year, and instead maybe do 2. And that's because my process takes longer. I put a lot more work into my oil paintings than I think a lot of these artists who are used to selling collections that might be also oil paintings, because I've purchased some of theirs to see their marketing materials that go in this, and I've really kind of broken it down to see what's worked for them and implement something similar because it works. And then but I actually got their work and I'm like, for me, this is a good start. You've probably got, if I were to do this, I would have at least another 30 hours into this. But for them, that was good. And then we broke it down even further, looking at their artwork. My daughter, she was like, you need to paint like them. You need to, she's like, it's so soothing. It's so relaxing. And I was like, what about me seems relaxing to you? Like, she's like, touche. So no, I'm not questioning my aesthetics to my artwork. I'm questioning everything else because the process is working. I know there's an audience for what I'm doing. I just need to refine the overall process and speak to them.
Right. It just so happens that the ones that you came across that are selling successfully in those collections happen to have a different style of art.
Yeah.
Very, very different. And obviously a different number of hours to your art. Like, you know, they may have something else that's very special to what they do.
Yeah.
Versus, you know, well, like I know Katrina uses water-based oil paints and that's special to her and that makes her, but she probably has as many hours in what she's doing as you do in yours. So, but your art is completely different. That has nothing to do about it. It's all the implementation of how you put it out.
Yeah.
And are you hitting your target market and creating for who that target market is?
And when I was doing some of the research just to even see, is this subject matter viable? You know, I'm creating kind of like a storyline with animals. And then I ran across some other artists that are nice and weird like me. And I was like, oh my God, these people are my people. Yay. There's a world for them. And they're in other galleries. And so I started researching those galleries and finding other artists. And so then I was able to even look at all of their web pages and go, okay, well, how are they marketing? And I know, Rachel, you actually bought one of the pieces from one of the artists that I was like, oh my God, I love her stuff. And we highlighted her before. I'm drawing a blank on the name right now. But through the research, it's validating that what I want to paint is sellable.
Right.
Yeah. Now, I think if I were to find a way, like if I were to research something that I want to paint, like that isn't viable and wouldn't sell, then it becomes a question of, well, am I doing this for me or am I doing it for somebody else? And if I do it for me, then paint it and it says something. Or, you know, it might even come after I painted it, what it could speak to. And I don't always know the answers. Sometimes I just paint the paint, you know?
Right.
But this is probably the first time that I've really gone with the opposite approach where I'm like, okay, so here's the research. It's viable. I'm going to produce it. Now let's sell it. And I'm getting closer to the point of now let's sell it. And I've been writing their stories as I've been creating it the whole time so that you can see the
It's going to be interesting to see how this is going to go as opposed to like you've got a couple of other different collections where you say it's kind of like catching up.
Yeah.
And it's starting to, but I want to see the difference in these. That's really neat to see.
Yeah, I hope so. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know yet, but I think I need to. I'm still playing catch up on the one before, the 5 Faces of Grief, and developing the materials that go with that. So with the cold emails, and that's actually generating something. I've got somebody coming to my studio tomorrow to see all 5 pieces with the potential of being in their grief center.
Oh, wow.
Awesome.
That is wonderful.
And the lady that purchased one, she actually pinged me while we were on our previous podcast recording. We're doing a PR thing for the one set that's going into another facility. And so just talking about it, produce some of these things. I'm really
Yeah.
about.
That's good.
That's really good. Yeah. And I think that's like, you can talk to talk, or you can talk to actually provide meaningful information to your target audience. And I think that's the biggest difference for artists. And a lot of us as artists are just marketing to other artists instead of, because we're just talking about our art. And I think the difference that I see in what you're doing and what some of these other artists that have collectors and VIPs and stuff is that you're talking about your art, but you're talking about it in relationship to how it would benefit them. You're not talking about it in relationship to yourself
Mhm.
or to benefit you. You're actually talking about the art and its meaning and why it should be important to somebody else.
Yeah. And
That was a really long-winded way to say that, but
but it's true. When I started flipping the conversation about the 5 faces of grief to what somebody actually said to me, or that you've relayed the grief cycle in such a way that it's people understand it's a process and it ends well.
yeah,
And the biggest piece end well. And so if they can relate to these pieces, it's a healing for them. And so that was like the snapping point in my mind. That was like, oh my God, I actually made something that could help people.
yeah,
Cool.
Okay.
Now I can market it.
right, exactly.
Yeah, before it's like, it's pretty. I don't know. But no.
And
Well,
would
that's
that
interesting.
collection have turned out the same way had you gone the same approach as you are with this new collection? Maybe not. And
Yeah.
so sometimes that may just be the way that it has to evolve.
Yeah.
But I think the important thing about the collection is that you're doing something that's authentic to you and then being able to figure out how to sell it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
It's fun. Yeah.
Okay, guys. Well, until next time.
What?
What? That was only 12 minutes.
Oh, how long are we supposed to do this? The
Well,
coffee chats. I
let's
thought they
figure
were
out a-
20, 20 minutes or so.
Okay,
Yeah,
well then
we
just
just
cut
need-
that out. Sorry.
Okay. That's okay. I was like, what? I had a question.
I know.
I thought our coffee chats were shorter. I'm
No.
sorry. Here, stop and start. Sorry about that. Go ahead. Go with your
What was
question.
your other question?
Ignore me.
So I was going to ask, since we kind of started target audience and then turned to collections here. So Rachel, I've noticed that with your work, you are ending up working in collections. And I'm wondering if that is intentional or it's just the way that it's evolved for you.
Maybe a little bit of both. I don't know. So the collection, I think I am sort of doing it intentionally now, but it started out that someone I think it was either Stephanie or Julia was like, oh, you need to do like a purple zebra.
Mm-hmm.
Or you need to do this. And then I ended up doing like 4 in the last year or 2 years ago color of the Very Perry. So I had these Very Perry animals.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, there's a collection,
Yeah.
And I don't think I always do it that way, but that one just turned out that way. So I do have sometimes, because you guys have gotten me to think about that, is that, at least do like 3 or 4 pieces. That way you have the chance if someone wants to get all of them, they could.
Well, I think of your flowers and I think of your Star Wars pieces.
Oh, yeah. I did. Yeah, I did do all those. Those are just ones I wanted. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, I think you have quite a few.
Yeah.
And you're Very Perry. You could change to magenta or whatever the color of the year is this year that eventually maybe I'll remember.
That's a good idea.
I got a question for you guys. So would you ever get annoyed with the comments of, you know what you ought to paint? Do you? Is it just me?
I don't really get those that often, but I am very annoyed by the direct messages I keep getting of, will you paint my little boy? Will you paint my little girl? And I'm like, I've looked at your art and I love it. And I want to respond back. Did you really look at my art? Because I don't paint people.
Right?
Yeah.
I could paint him if he looks like a whale. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. Right. I can make your son look like a narwhal. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'm happy to refer you out somewhere, but I'm like nature and sea life. Like, that's my thing.
You have those cute little girls, though, the little angels.
Yeah, I do. But again, that's not going to translate to some kid's portrait.
No.
Yeah. I kind of think that was
it's scam.
The scam ones. I actually read an article on Google. You know, sometimes you can go to Google and it'll list like the articles down below. And one of them was complaining about the scammers that are trying to get you. They'll send you a check, you cash the check or whatever, and then send a remainder back.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there thinking, are people actually falling for this?
And those are so old. You would think that by now they wouldn't be. But I'll tell you, some of the scams I've been getting recently are so realistic.
Really?
Down to real websites.
Really?
Well, I sent you the one, Rachel.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was totally fake.
And stick it in the community so we can like see.
And
because I want to see.
Yeah, I'm just like, and then of course these direct messages, which I know are scammers. Yeah. I'm happy to refer you out, and I never hear from them again. But yeah, I don't know. It's just crazy. Crazy.
I was listening to the radio this morning, and it kind of made me think there's this segment these people do. It's like, what are you hating on right now? And I was just like, I wonder if we should do something like that. What are you, except not hating on, what are you annoyed with right now? And I'm like, what are you annoyed with, right? So you're annoyed with the scammers.
Yeah.
Are you annoyed with anything, Rachel?
The price of food right now.
Oh God. Yeah.
Oh God, yes.
Just going to the grocery store, it's making me mad at this point.
Yeah. It's frustrating.
Because I mean, there's only just two of us. Yeah. There's just two of us, and I'm spending like there were four of us.
Yeah, and there's 5 of us.
Yeah, I don't know how y'all do it. I know a lot of people.
And I've got
Costco.
And I've got 2 serious athletes that, work out 2 to 3 hours a day. I mean, my son's running 60 miles a week.
Oh man.
Oh my God, the food.
Yeah.
We've actually a whole rice and beans thing. Yeah, that's a real thing. And
mac and cheese. Yeah, a couple times a week because it's, cheaper, which I don't like to eat that all the time, but
ramen noodles still good. They're great.
I was going to say there was a lady that her husband went with him and went with her to the grocery store, and he was just like shocked, and he was like, you're supposed to eat healthy, but look how expensive it is. I'm just going to be fat and sassy.
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, healthy is almost cheaper than the processed foods these days.
Well, I know I get my healthy foods from like Aldi's, and the produce and the eggs and the milk. That's still like super cheap there, and the bread, and then the commissary. The commissary is tax-free. So I know that automatically saves us 9%. And then I go around and they've got like manufacturer coupons everywhere. And so I can grab the manufacturer coupons. And, you're just figuring out ways. Like I'm reverting back to the ways that I was probably in college of cheap food. Oh my God, tuna helper is so ridiculously good. But
I know.
Instead of tuna, we put chicken in it because kids like chicken. And it's actually really pretty good. I'm like, okay, $1.25, baby, right here.
So you're using the canned chicken instead of the canned tuna?
No, we use. I make chicken every Sunday in the pot and cook it up and then just divide it up because that's what we eat, pretty much chicken and vegetables almost every day for lunch. And then, Yeah, and Tyler, he'll like just grab a half a thing of chicken after soccer and dip it in ranch like the whole time. It's cold. It's just, right?
Gross.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
That's nasty.
Oh, that's awful.
He's hungry. Okay, whatever.
Whatever. At least he's feeding himself.
Yeah. Yeah, he's feeding himself.
Yeah. And then, so that's a big one. I'm trying to think what I'm annoyed with right now. I'm annoyed with just not having, I guess, enough time. I'm always going to be annoyed with that, I think.
Yeah, I know. I'm always annoyed with that. Just
And
enough
you put
time.
more hours in your day than anyone else, Stephanie.
Yeah.
I thought Jules here was the queen of getting it every minute out of the day, but you put her to shame.
Yes, you do. No, I'm definitely, I need my quiet time and my time to just decompress every day.
I'm the slacker of the group.
You are not a slacker. I don't think I'm a slacker.
In this group.
Not at all.
I actually aspire to put as many products that you've been putting out on your Shopify to do the same, because I have been neglecting, I think, that just a little bit. Oh, and Rachel showed me this email feature on Shopify.
You're welcome. I know. It's awesome, isn't it?
Yes. Have you told Julie about it?
Oh, I know what you're talking about, where it automates the emails back to people. And I have that.
But it also do like, hey, I'm featuring this product this week or whatever.
Right.
It has like cool little templates.
I need to set that up. But I do have the one where it, sends out if it's in abandoned cart and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Got that one. Yeah, it's an app called Email, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that one's the bomb. So I want to use that one more often. I haven't played with the after sale post purchase one.
I haven't either.
But yeah, I want to be more like you with adding all my stuff to my shop.
Yeah. You're good at that.
I'm starting with my Society 6, and then I'll be working on my Shopify.
Woo-woo.
Yeah. My plan for the rest of today is to finish these cold emails to a couple interior decorators and invite them to an open studio. I've never done it before. I'm going to do it.
Are you doing it for open?
No, I don't want to do an open studio night when all the other artists have all their studios open and it's overpacked. They're charging for parking. I'm going to do it another night where it'll be kind of low key. I'm the one that's probably going to be open. And they're not
charging. A Wednesday or Thursday night would be good.
Yeah. And so, I'm working on that. And I just installed an app onto my Shopify called Ticket Spot, so that way they can RSVP. I don't know how many to plan for. Yeah, hopefully people actually RSVP. People are just don't RSVP anymore. What do you guys got to work on the rest of the week?
Nothing.
I am just I have to travel this week. So I am just going to try to create.
Awesome.
All right. Well, coffee was good this morning.
I'm caffeinated.
I am too. I'm ready to go.
Until next time.
Thanks for listening to Artists Soar, a podcast for artists by artists. And if you have any questions, feel free to email us at hello@artistssoar.com.
And be sure to leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts so that you can get more of us and we can bring in some sponsors to help you and help us.